Welcome back to the Tim and Steve Show. I am Tim Beard.
I'm Steve Morris.
How you doing this morning, Steve?
A little tired.
You look a little tired.
Put a brisket on about 1 a.m.
Oh, brisket.
Had to stay on top of it because when you first light it, you got to find the right damper settings. So anyway, I'm a little tired.
You look tired. I kind of cheat on those because I have a pellet smoker, which some people will say that, a pellet smoker is not really smoking because it's easier, obviously, because when you set the control temperature, it stays. It's easy. And I'll totally admit that. If you have someone out there that is burning wood to make ash, they're a pit master. I am not a pit master.
I went to a barbecue competition in Kansas City, I don't know, 8, 9 years ago. And those men and women it's not even, there's no art to it. It's all scientific. They have, so like your pellet smoker has whatever to keep it to where it probably dumps pellets in to keep the fire. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
They have computers hooked up that tell them when to pull a log, when to.
Really?
It's all computerized. Maybe not all of them, but
right.
Some of the ones I visited, it was like a NASA control center in there for their barbecue pits. It was.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
And it's funny, too, because. And
it was good, don't get me wrong, but for me, part of the art is lost because it's staying awake all night or,
right.
messing with the dampers, having to pull it off, let it rest while you get the fire back up.
And what was that? That was a competition one? Or?
Yeah, it was a competition.
Yeah. So maybe, because I watched the Pit Masters on TV, and you don't see pellet smokers very often. It's usually, double invection. They've got all these crazy, contraptions. And I think, for instance, your brisket last time you did was awesome.
It was like one of the best
it
ones
was,
I've ever made.
It was amazing. And I'm still super excited about this because I'm sure it's going to be really good. But it's different because you're using charcoal and wood for smoke. I'm using a pellet. And it is different. It does have a different taste. Just like I'll do barbecue chicken over hot coals. And it's just different it's crazy the difference. And I watched a show one time. Man, I don't even know if she's alive anymore because the show is probably a couple of years old, but a little old lady, 80 years old, Southern Texas, one of the best barbecue places there. And she's a true pit master. They got a room this size, probably 20 by 30. And she's just got these pits that she does all the barbecue in. And that's crazy. That is awesome.
I think I've said it before, but my uncle used to stay up all night long and smoke all kinds of stuff out on the grill, depending on what time we're going to eat. He'd put everything on. And good memory.
I love smoking. The last pulled pork I did was really good, and so I make good smoke food, and I love doing it. But if anyone's like, "Oh, you're like a pit master," no. These people, it's a whole different level. I can make good food, good smoked food, but the whole level of doing it like that is impressive. Very impressive.
My buddies I was talking to him last night down in Texas, and one of my buddy's friends is a guy who competes all the time, and he was telling me about how he wrapped his brisket after, 6 or 7 hours with this stuff, and then it came out with this real thick glaze on it. I was like, it sounds good, but I just don't know if I could eat a brisket like that. You know what I mean? He was describing it kind of sounded good, but I was like, I'd kind of like that on ham, maybe. I don't know about
ham would be
beef. Good. But anyway, it was intriguing, but he wins all kinds of competitions down in Texas.
Definitely try it.
Yeah, I might get the recipe, figure out it. I didn't write it down because we were on the Xbox. But
So, I got a question. So, we do the show. We do it in the morning. I edit it. I give it to you. You put it on YouTube because we're at your house, your internet. What is up with the faces I make every time? I swear you're doing it on purpose. Did you see yesterday's?
No.
I have the most horrible, face.
There's
Andrea said something about it, and I'm like, so if you don't watch the show, you should just tune in at least for the part where what kind of stupid face is Tim going to be making today?
Well, there's one where I have one eye is looking that way. Somehow I have crazy eyes. It's well, I saw it. I don't know if it was I might. It was probably last week, maybe Friday, but anyway, or maybe Monday's show. Yeah, today Wednesday, so Monday's show.
Yeah,
My eyes were looking in two different directions. I didn't think that was possible, but on the freeze frame of it, one eye looking that way.
we used to do this thing with the kids. It's kind of funny. We call it, what was it? Freeze face or something like that. So we'd like watch TV and you just hit pause. And because there's this, for instance, this records at 24 frames a second, which is better than 30 frames a second, which is normal. So what that means is 24 pictures per second if you broke down the video frame by frame. So it's no matter what you do, if you catch your face just right. But it just seems like every time you upload that thing, YouTube picks the stupidest picture I have of my face doing something dumb.
Maybe it's the AI sending you a message.
Maybe. I was
telling you to watch your language.
Maybe. We didn't mention this yesterday, and I wish we kind of did because it's really a milestone for us. But today is show 26. Yesterday was show 25.
I know.
25. Well, 26 now.
It's crazy.
Isn't it? And people still pay attention, and more people talk to me every day about things. I actually had a phone call last night from someone that's like, hey, can you talk about this on your show? And I was like, wow, yeah, all right, cool.
That's cool. So we're going to talk about it today?
Yeah, now I got to find it. Now that I said that, I kind of forgot about it. And then
he's supposed to send me because you prepped a while ago. So
my prep. Yeah, prep sometimes is easy and hard. And I try to.
You went to the game last night. So.
I did. I got home at 11:30. Tough loss for Newport, but a great game. Girls should be so proud of yourselves. They lost 6-0 to Prospect Mountain, which was undefeated. They have the best rated pitcher and catcher in Division III. Our girls just couldn't get on base. I think we probably got Maddie Norris got on once. I think Tanya got on twice. I think that was about it. We would be getting foul balls set off this girl and stuff. Her pitch count had to be well over 100. She pitched the whole game. Tanya did as well, but they're hitting it. But if they hit it, it either went right to the person or just wasn't. It just wasn't what.
Just didn't get any to go their way.
Just couldn't get it to go their way. But I tell you, so there was 4 games in that same place last night, and you could see the back-to-back fields in Plymouth, and so the Division IV teams were on the other field, and we got there early, so I watched the end of the Campbell Berlin game, but Campbell beat Berlin they didn't run rule them, I don't think, but it was 13-3 or something like that. But the other 2 games on the other field for Division IV, the last game was run ruled. It was 14-2, and then so the game was significantly different. These girls held their own. They didn't get a run, but they held 6-0 for a number one team like that, where all the other teams were double digits for the run. So really, shout out to Newport girls, and most of our team are freshmen and sophomores. We have no seniors, and I think it was just a couple juniors on the team. So a lot of future prospect there, and a lot of these girls play travel ball. A lot of so impressed with Peyton Blackington. She's small. She's not a big girl. She's skinny. She's just short. She would get up there. She's the number one batter, and she was ripping off foul after foul. And she had one ball that she'd missed last night, but it's kind of the same effect that if you're playing in the sun, the lights were bright, just lost it in the lights. And then we had another foul ball that was hit that. I'm trying to think. The third baseman, Stanley's daughter. I can't even remember. Cheyenne. Same thing, kind of lost it in the lights. But they had one play that could have been a double play, but the girl just overthrew it just a little too much.
I saw that. That was,
and then which was unfortunate, but obviously it happens. High pressure too. Even as you're sitting in the stands, it's so different. I'm used to Newport. I stand behind the umpire there, and it's such a different environment. And this is kind of going to a college. It was a college stadium, but it was more of a serious thing. And 3 umps, and the field crew comes out to line the field, and I'm like, holy crap! They have everything set up perfect. We have a piece of wood that we use to trace out the lines. They have a aluminum one that has a plate in the middle, so it's perfect. They line it three guys doing this too. Like I was impressed. I was like, holy crap,
That's awesome.
this is quite the thing.
Good
But
experience for the girls. Hopefully
great
they'll prep them for
experience.
next
I mean,
year.
Newport, we're a small school. You're playing Division III, which we play Division IV in football. We're playing Division III in softball, and you made it through 2 rounds. You made it to the Final Four. You're the 5th seed and lost to the number 1 team that was undefeated. So, shout out to you girls. You did an awesome, awesome job. You should be so proud of yourselves, and you made Newport. Very proud for sure. So, yeah. So I got home. We got lucky too because it just barely started to rain at the end of the game as we were walking to the car. Because I'm like, Andrew's like, hey, it's raining here and it's looking dark, and I'm like, oh man, this will suck if it starts to rain. And we managed it. It started like a couple drops. We got to the car and then rained on part of the way home, and then it kind of stopped. And then of course when I got home, it rained pretty good too. So
Yeah, rain. It stopped me. I still had some daylight left. I got, I don't know, 80 some odd tomato plants planted yesterday.
nice. We needed the rain to help wash away that pollen. Man, that
Yeah,
is
my
cool.
house is coated, because we keep all the doors and windows open during when it's cool enough.
All the cars out in the yard just covered in that yellow crap, and it's not good for my allergies either. Most people's allergies is pretty bad. This would help, and then
The yellow stuff, which is pollen.
yes, that is pollen. No worries. So then we have graduation,
Tonight,
and it's supposed to be nice.
it's starting. The sun looks like it's trying to break through right now.
Yeah, it's supposed to be nice, and then I think tomorrow it's supposed to rain again. But it sounds like we're gonna have a big long window here where we get this in, and
So I need to get back out in the garden before.
before you have to go to graduation.
I got to run up to the school, pick up my packet
Nice for school board meeting tomorrow night,
tomorrow night, 5 o'clock,
5 o'clock. Need to be there
or B square.
or be square. A couple of things I found. So June 10th, which is Friday, there is at I don't know, I think you going to this? You're probably going to this. June 10th from 11:30 to 12:30 at the CT, at the VOTEC. They're doing a CT character sessions, joining the renovation process, and it says design process. So I'm assuming it's like
Yeah, I think they're going to go over different couple options, maybe.
nice. So and obviously it's welcome to the public because this was put out, and it does say RSVP though. So RSVP to K How at SAU 43, and we'll put this up so you'll see it. And I'm gonna start at the end of the show, put these slides at the end so that like for different events. So at the end of the show, you'd be able to see like, oh hey, okay, this is event and whatever. So there was that. Go back here now. Middle school awards were last night. Lydia got, I don't remember what the award was. She got an award, but I was proud of my cousin, or excuse me, my nephew too, Owen Beard. He got a, holy crap, he got a award for science. He got an award. I apologize. I went through my text because Andrew's texting. Lydia got an award for her consumer science. Owen got an award for computer science, English award, and I think he got one other one. So shout out to them, and shout out to all the kids that went last night, got awards for their achievements in middle school. It's great to see the amount of success in Newport.
Yeah, we need to keep up the hard work.
Absolutely. High school sports awards are tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. It's awards week and graduation week, and this was postponed from last week. Did see Miller last night at the game. He was looking a lot better. So we'll see if we can get him on the show next week. We got kind of a busy week this week, so and I'm sure he's got a busy week too with awards coming up tomorrow. And then so there's two things on here. I'll do this one first though. So students in grades 6 through 11. So if you're coming into sixth grade, if you're in fifth now, you're coming into sixth grade through 11, that are interested in playing fall sports should come to the cafeteria on Thursday. So tomorrow on the 9th, after school to receive information on summer training, start dates for fall sports, etc. And if you can't make it, it's all right. There will be more information and stuff like that. And then also, attention Newport football families, there will be an additional informational meeting at the high school football field this Sunday at 5 o'clock to go over everything from preseason camp start dates. So that's the little kids too, the Newport Football League, all the way up through high school. So there's just that time of year to kind of get the dates, and because they start, I think they start like end of July, whatever. They put a lot into it. To,
2-a-days.
Yeah, get into the deal.
They do 2-a-days up here, or is that just a Texas thing?
I think it's a Texas thing. I've never heard of it.
Really? Practice twice a day in the morning and the evening when it's coolest?
Nah, we don't. It's not that hot up here, so they don't have to do it that way. But sometimes I think when it's hot, though, usually the more in the evening. You'll see them down there later in the day because it's warm, but it gets real hot in Texas, so I think it's
100 and something degrees.
Yeah,
in
so
August.
Yeah, well, we're lucky. Usually we don't usually get that here. Trying to think what else I had on here. The old courthouse restaurant, I was looking for kitchen staff, dishwashers, and wait staff. It says amazing family-owned business, and even if you just want a couple shifts a week, please consider applying.
So, they're real good to the community too.
Yeah, and as you know, everybody is looking for help everywhere. Duncan everywhere. It's
Elon has told, he threw shot across the bow saying, get ready to go back to work, even though there's also rumblings of another, illness are going to thrust upon us.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I hope people don't fall for this crap anymore.
I can't help.
Speaking of that, so I was driving down the road in Newport, and there was an older lady. I don't know how old she was, but she was walking with two, 4 or 5-year-olds. Both these kids were a mask outside by themselves, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? But the lady wasn't wearing one, but what the hell is wrong with you? Your kid has zero freaking chance of anything happen to them. Unless they both were really sick, but they didn't look like very sick kids. Like, they weren't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
they weren't obese.
No. They were
didn't have cancer. Didn't appear
to have cancer. I don't know.
They look like healthy 4 to 5-year-olds. I got you.
Yeah. Like, what the hell are you doing to your kids? Like,
tell them, people have been listening to the people reading the news off of a teleprompter, Ron Burgundy style. Like, really, that's all they are. They're a bunch of Ron Burgundys. Some of them might be educated. They're not doctors. They're not scientists. And then no one ever follows the money. Follow the money of the people on the news, and you'll realize that you're getting hoodwinked on everything, not just on the medical thing. I don't know what else to tell. Like, probably the 45, 100 listeners that we have consistently, somewhere between there, depending on if Chief is on or not. We get a little bit more with Chief because he's a good interview. He's probably better at this than we are. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, let's just wake up.
yeah.
Don't even, look up everything we say. I'm probably wrong about half the stuff I say, but I tell you what, I'm not going to give in to the fear of a newscaster who studied journalism to learn how to look at the camera and try not to make their eyes look like they're reading, even though if you watch closely, they're reading. Even when they're arguing, they're reading. That's when I stopped watching all news, is whenever it was supposed to look like an organic argument, and then I caught one of the young ladies reading, basically. You could see her eyes moving as she was reading her outrage. So it was like a fake argument with somebody, and I was like, caught you. I'm out. I haven't watched news since then. Because, I'd watch it just through the lens of knowing that they're probably, you gotta discern for yourself what's the gist of the story, what you should take away from it. But whenever I saw her basically reading as she was pretending to be outraged, I was like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
That's my own experience. If you trust the people on TV, if you blindly trust us, because we're going to get things wrong.
Yeah, we really just look into stuff and try to figure it out, and we don't. Yeah, no one feeds us our information. Says you need to say this on your show.
Yeah, even our sponsors are kind enough not to say, don't talk about this, or we're not going to sponsor. I guess if they told us not to talk about something, then we'd probably be like, well, you're probably not.
Right, exactly. We just do it. It just wouldn't work. This is the product. If you don't like the product, then don't. Yeah.
But we appreciate it. You know what I mean? They're.
Yeah. But we don't get crazy like that. I don't,
Like if you got John Paul, every once in a while you get a little, you get a little
There's way
heated.
more.
Oh yeah, I mean
There's way more. I hold back so much.
that's why you say crap and moron all the time.
Exactly.
Because you want to just let out a litany of curse words because you're so frustrated you can't communicate clearly, and you just want to let everybody know through language. Because for 2 years, if you would have worn a mask, nobody would be able to see your face to see if you were being sarcastic, to see if you're happy, angry, laughing, whatever. Because you know how much communication is nonverbal.
You can tell me it was a study that was.
It's over 90%. Over 90% of communication is nonverbal, and we're going to walk around and cover up the majority. I mean, yeah, you can still see your hands or whatever. So if somebody's actively moving their hands, you can read into that. But you can't read their face. You can't read the lines. Like literally there are creases on their face because we all develop and discern things through clues that people give off. Because over time we develop they call them biases, whatever you want to call it. But we teach ourselves, all right, well, this person's blinking fast, so maybe they're not being truthful, or maybe they're nervous, right? So you can tell that from blinking, which I guess with a mask you could tell that, but I can't tell if you're smirking if you say something dryly to me. Anyway, wake up, people. Communication is over 90% nonverbal, and we're putting kids who are supposed to mimic. That's how they learn, by mimicking what they see other people do, adults especially. We're going to mask our faces and theirs?
No.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not in my house.
No, it'll never happen again either. We're solely determined that. I don't care what you bring out this fall. It's not happening.
I just wake up.
Yeah.
Which
Seriously.
I know that most of the people listening to this are like, yeah, we know, Steve. We got it.
Yeah, I know, right? That's true.
Not trying to, but, you got to ask these tough questions. Do you realize it's Ron Burgundy reading you the news?
Just stand up and stop freaking, blindly following people and telling you what to do. This is a free country. Start acting free.
Right.
You have free speech. You have this. Wake up. Why are you letting these morons
It's becoming
tell you?
a banana republic more and more every day. Like the
It
ridiculousness of the two-tiered system. They're putting stuff on at night to try to get people outraged that the cops opened the doors and they stayed within the ropes for the most part.
Yeah, there was I didn't even have this on there, but
Except for the one laptop that was stolen that probably I wish was in the right hands where something would happen. If there was anything untoward on it. Maybe there's not.
well, I mean, tomorrow night they're having the.
It wouldn't matter, though, because they had Hunter Biden's laptop and they had 50.
It's on the record now too.
50 people from the intelligence agencies who are trained liars come out and tell you that it's Russian disinformation. And people believe it and will tell you that I'm weird for being like, no, it's not.
Yeah, I don't know how people I swear to God, I'm telling you, it's come back to this, and we've talked about it before. We're going to talk about it right now. It comes back to kids not standing up for themselves in school, and then they become adults and they don't stand up for themselves there, and they don't think for themselves, and so they're met with confrontation at school, and they're they're letting the bullies bully them because they don't stand up for themselves, and then
Because the bully's not going to change if you go up and say, hey, stop doing this.
exactly. So, and like I said before,
All that's going to do is go make them bully you more for being a snitch.
yeah. Well, if someone's bullying you in school, and if maybe they beat you up, maybe that bully is way bigger than you, and you get beat up. But guess what? The physical pain, that goes away in a short amount of time. But the emotional and mental abuse that you take can last a lifetime, and people pay lots of money in therapy, and it still doesn't fix it. Stand up for yourself. Stop freaking just
you don't
saying,
have to- You're not advocating fighting or anything.
No,
else. What you're
just
saying
stand up
is,
for yourself.
Stand up for yourself. You have a right to protect yourself. Do it.
Yeah, stand up for yourself. I don't get it. And I swear it's it's the way society is trying to go. Because people don't stand up for themselves, just like if you stop teaching history, you stop teaching that you have rights, that people will eventually, maybe it takes another generation, but you're like, no, it's easy to take over and do whatever I want because people don't realize, oh, wait, I have a First Amendment, I have a Second Amendment, I have all these rights?
I
Wait,
have like
what?
20, what's it, 27? How many amendments are there? I can't remember. I learned it at one point. I knew them all.
We got the book in front of us, but it'll look kind of weird if you're going through the whole thing. But, all right, let's talk about, again, because this will be kind of a topic for my speech to the school board tomorrow night. But so Newport School District openings for this coming
27.
27 minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of positions on here that need to be filled. There's another one now, which is the principal at Richard School. So I'll be discussing that in my public comment tomorrow to the board. Yeah, so anyways, Richard School needs an elementary classroom teacher. They need school guidance counselor from K through 2. They need special education teacher, and they need paraeducators, which they'll train. The middle school needs computer science teacher, special education teacher, so more than one. Science teacher, grade 7, science teacher, grade 8. Math teacher, grade 7, social studies teacher, grade 7. Family and community liaison, guidance counselor, board certified behavior analysis part-time, and paraeducators. And then Newport High School needs special education teachers, social studies teacher, math teacher, art teacher, media specialist, health science community teacher, which is part of the VOTEC, paraeducators. And then the school district needs an information technology support technician, bus drivers, which we've talked about many times, but they will train CDL and SBC card, which you need, transportation coordinator, and substitute teachers as RAs are needed. And you can reach out to Sally Hooper at the SAU if any of these sound like something you'd be interested in. And even if you don't have your teaching certificate per se, but maybe you have a science degree, you could still reach out to them because they'll work with you. Obviously, you just want to be qualified that, maybe science better than a teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I mean, there's paperwork you can fill out, and then you're on like a 2 or 3 year probation, depending on.
Yeah.
And so you have like a mentor, not like, you have a mentor.
You have a mentor, yeah.
That helps you get through all the processes.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have a teaching degree. You do have to have a degree, though.
Yeah, you do have to have a degree because obviously we want you to,
Have some foundational basis of what you're talking about.
yeah, that's usually
What you expect out of a teacher.
Usually we'd expect that from a teacher. And then, so we have Wings and Wheels June 25th, 11 to 2, which I'm excited for because I love airplanes and I love cars, so that will all be there. 5K, which we're not going to do this one, but
No, we need to.
we
We
need
got a
to.
lot of stuff we got to do here, Tim.
Yeah, you're telling me.
You got to stop making commitments all over the place. Pace yourself and myself.
Oh, I'm horrible at that. Yeah, you'll probably never get through to me on that one because see, Steve, that's the face. That's the freaking face.
Yeah, you look evil there.
Like
Like the Joker.
seriously.
1989 Jack Nicholson Joker going.
Like, seriously. How? I swear you're doing this to me.
I think it randomly generates it. I think you can change it, though, if you want to go over and change it.
Nah. I'll embarrass myself for the show just because maybe someone will be like, oh, I'll just start watching the show because see the stupid face Tim makes. I'm trying to find this was a phone call I got last night, and he's going to get me the flyer, but I'm like, oh, look at that. I found it. So I didn't need the flyer. So Mike called me last night, him and Robbie own First Choice Auto, work on our cars. Well, they work on my cars, my brother's cars.
Down there in the valley.
Yeah, right at Jim's Cap Down. Good guys. I've done business with them for a while. They started the business actually last year, but then they used to work somewhere else, which when they left there, I'm like, well, I come here because of you guys, So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go down there. But he wanted to reach out to me and say, hey, we're doing this big benefit at the Moose because he's involved with the Moose. I don't know what his position is, but I know he's got some position in the Moose organization. So
Also the Moose organization.
so the Moose is kind of like the Elks and not like the American Legion, but they're a nonprofit. They do a lot for the community. They do a lot of sponsor or scholarships and a lot of things like that. So they're kind of like the Rotary in a way, or Kiwanis. They're similar to that. A lot of people that go to the Moose and get a drink after work. Or
Where's it at?
The Moose is up across from the golf course.
Oh.
So it's on the right hand side. So like one of the holes is in front of the Moose. They also have a function hall that you can rent out. I've been there for a lot of birthday parties, a lot of different things. But
Lived there 3.5 years, never heard of the Moose.
yeah, man, we're gonna have to go around. I have to show you some places. But so this is a benefit for Rolling Thunder. You know what Rolling Thunder is?
No, it was a motorcycle.
Yeah, so Rolling Thunder is a motorcycle club that is all veterans or current military members. I don't.
Then I don't think it can be a club because current military is not supposed to be in motorcycle clubs.
All right, so it's veterans. Listen, I'm trying to wing it here.
It's
and you're trying to just,
it's a new world. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Up is down, left is right.
But anyways, my buddy Alan's in this too. So like I'm in Live Free or Die Riders, and then Alan's in Rolling Thunder because he was in the military. And but anyways, Rolling Thunder is the one that put on the huge thing during Memorial Day that would go to Washington every year. They'd have like 1 million bikes and everything. So their chapter, they have a chapter up here, obviously, and so they're doing a fundraiser. It's called a Rockin' Barbecue for a Great Cause, featuring Roadhouse. It's sponsored by the Moose, and the event is for Rolling Thunder. It's going on from 4:30 to 10 o'clock at night at the Newport Moose, which is on 18 Golf Club Drive. It's $25 a person, and it includes barbecue dinner and a band. It says net profits will be provided. Will be going to Rolling Thunder, so obviously after the cost of the food or whatever. But if you're not doing anything on the 25th after you check out the Wings and Wheels, or even if you don't check out the Wings and Wheels, if you want to have some barbecue and a band and a good time, and it benefits a good cause, check this out up to the Moose.
Can I get you all flustered there over here? You seem like you're wanting to slap me.
No, it's just me trying to actually I should pull this over here so I have it. Kind of thinking on the fly here, and you threw me off. Save that. Can't
Sorry.
It's all right. People listen to the show expect no less from us. So, all right, let's go to our national news.
Nothing on the state level? Skipping state today?
Do you have anything for the state level, Steve?
No, I think I talked about it yesterday, or was that I can't? Everything's blurring together because we talk about so much stuff off the air and then on the air.
It's tough too because I was telling like a friend of mine, I was like, it's hard because a lot of people don't pay attention to a lot of the news because it's depressing and it just brings them down. So I think that's some of it. People have just kind of stepped away from it because they don't feel like they have any control over it. Which, I mean, you do when you vote. That's obviously like voting has consequences, but
well, not over the news. I mean, they put up a death count, to scare you.
Yeah, but for us for the show to do the show, we're constantly going through news stuff, so it gets like
I know it can get angry and
it just gets depressing too, and you're just like
you read
everything. So we're like exposing ourselves to more and more stuff, and it's like. So, when you kind of come on here, you want to have like a positive show. You want to talk about things you want people, to be interested in. And that's why we obviously do the Newport stuff first or any of the local stuff first and talk about the good stuff because we'll never just have a show where we're just going to talk about everything bad because, no, thanks, I'm good with that. I don't want to talk about it and no one wants to listen to it either. So but it's hard when you're trying to find national stuff where you're kind of like, well, let's talk about
we got to maintain our morals and values, which is, I will not submit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah. So, I didn't
have.
Well, the only state news, once again, if Chief comes in and want to talk about it, is there was this person that was murdered in Wyndham, and then someone said Springfield, Vermont, they found someone that was shot in the head, dead too. I don't know. weird, interesting stuff. Well, I don't know.
Interesting, but
Interesting for sure.
okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. But so I want to go over this thing. It was a riot thing. Now I gotta find it. Here it goes. So this happened in 2020. So remember when there was all the rioting, and then like these two lawyers or lawsuit, whatever they were, like firebombed a police cruiser. So they get a significantly reduced plea deal from what they originally were going to get. And it's so funny because I was reading in here just the way the story was written. Where the hell was it? This originally they could have faced up to 45 years in prison under former President Trump's administration, which. So wait, well, I don't see the difference. Why are we talking about previous president? Oh, because he's going to charge him with domestic terrorist, which we would be domestic terrorists when we go to school board meetings all mad about things, according to the Department of Homeland Security. Or if you believe that the election was stolen, you're a domestic terrorist. I think I still have the screenshot on my phone of that from DHS. So, was it DHS or
Basically, if you question the government in
You're-
such a manner that
yes,
is not in line with
Yeah.
the leftist.
yes, then you are a domestic terrorist. Even though I love this country more than most people love this country, I support the Constitution of this country and people's rights, but I'm a domestic terrorist. Yeah, I don't think so. And then, so
You're not. You're just
yeah,
passionate about America, man. Like
Yes.
all of us should be.
So, many lawyers condemned their conduct, but others objected to the case's handling, arguing that the defendants were being unfairly treated as domestic terrorists. They firebombed a police cruiser, which it's okay though because you're a leftist and you're pissed because a criminal was murdered by a cop, and that makes everything okay. So when you burnt Ferguson, you burnt Kenosha, you burnt Seattle or some of Seattle, you set up an autonomous zone in Seattle. That is acceptable because the left says that's acceptable. But say me and you want to go down to some city and do something because we're mad about voter
You don't even have to
fraud,
whataboutism.
allegedly.
You don't even have to do that. You don't even have to say if it were us. It's you can go and pull up news articles where men or women have done less than these and have longer sentences.
Yeah. And then it says,
I mean, it's
prosecutors reportedly decided to revise the charges in light of President Joe Biden's pledge on to reform the criminal justice system and address systematic racism. Systematic racism. Once again, these are two lawyers. So, in this whole horrible racist world that we have, they somehow managed to become lawyers. That's interesting. And in a court filing last month, they said that the new terms reflect the nature and circumstances of the offensive and of the offense and the histories and personal characteristics of these defendants. It's just amazing, isn't it? Like,
I had a good conversation with someone yesterday, and they pointed out that the reform of the criminal justice system it doesn't hold people to account. However, it keeps lawyers and judges busy.
yeah.
Because the same people will be back a few hours later,
Yeah.
a few days, weeks, months.
So we
later,
talked about this yesterday on the show, where
but the lawyers are getting paid to go and
Yeah.
even if it's just for a 30-minute court appearance, they're going to get
Right.
their money.
yeah, and you have DAs like in Philadelphia letting violent criminals out on the street and then saying, "Oh my God, we need to take your guns because all these criminals that we just let out on the street that we don't hold to account."
Again, Tim, you're trying to use logic and reason, and a lot of people won't allow themselves to use logic and reason. It hurts their ego too much.
So these people,
I mean, just like it hurt mine. Somebody came in here and sat down and showed me some stuff that I had no clue about, and it shook my worldview. Along the lines of like that guy who's talking to you, even me and you. I mean, granted, I have a degree in American politics, so I feel like whenever I talk about it, I have some sense of, and I served in the government for 20 years on active duty and over 20 years, and then 4 years in a government institution for college. So I have a pretty good understanding of government all around.
Yeah,
That's my, that's my that's my qualifications, certifications. Trust me when I tell you that they're not all looking out for you. They're not all the smartest people in the world.
so these people, so the federal
Whatever,
the federal prosecutor's new recommendation is between 18 and 24 months in prison, and then the revised charges would be a maximum of 5 years in prison. And let's see how long. What was it? That Proud Boys guy that just got charged and found guilty of, what was the word? I can't even remember now.
Sedition.
Sedition. When they went into the Capitol on January 6th, when the police let them in. Like all
open the doors.
All the videos of the police letting them come in, telling them to come in.
Let's see if they put that on the primetime news, because aren't they putting that committee on the primetime?
Yes, ABC's one of their producers has produced this whole thing with all the clips from the thing and everything, and I can only imagine what those clips will be. Maybe we took all the little snippets that look bad. And once again, this is another leftist way of you'll hear
controlling
nothing.
the narrative.
Yeah.
They'll
You'll hear nothing from the defense. You'll only hear prosecution, and you'll hear, oh my God, all these people did this. And once again, they said that
congressmen and women crying because they thought they were going to be attacked. Whatever. Those are like grandmas walking through the Capitol.
I wonder how they'd feel like if people in this country woke up and they realized that the clown show that we're involved in right now and what these congressmen and women are really doing. Like, you think they're scared on January 6th, like, what would you think when 100 million people have realized like that being
That's
played?
why they're passing some of the laws that they're passing, because if people realize how corrupt and useless both parties are, and that they're not looking out for any of us in the grand scheme of things, like, you're going to pass a bill to help with the whole self-inflicted crisis with baby formula, and then you're going to give most of that money to the bureaucracy that shut down the baby formula. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, you could take that money and open up 4 plants probably with all that money. At least, I don't know. I mean,
right.
I'm not a plant guy, but I'm saying that's a lot of, maybe 2 or 3 plants.
Yeah, I mean, you could do a lot with it.
But we're going to give it to the FDA. What the clowns.
But the FDA needs it.
Clowns. Everybody, you're being bamboozled.
Yeah.
By both parties.
Yeah. Which, as promised, I have the Republican thing after. I have one more thing to talk about first. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, how can't you see it? How can't people see the way the system's against normal people like me and you?
Because they're bombarded by the mainstream media that tell normal people like me and you that we're in the minority and that we're an ist if we don't agree with kids giving dollar bills out to, and strip clubs to drag queens or whatever it was there in Texas, my home state that I was born in. But, it doesn't surprise me it's Dallas. I never really cared about Dallas. It's basically like New York.
It's like their football team.
It's the New York of Texas. Well, at least it's the New York of Texas from people from Houston, or actually I should say the suburbs, because downtown Houston's pretty corrupt. Austin is the California of Texas.
Austin is pretty cool. 6th Street, though.
Yeah, but it's also the California of Texas.
Nice.
It's not nice.
It's not nice.
California is beautiful until you
Until you live there?
Until you live there and you got to pay taxes and you try to sell a home. And
you'd probably get arrested if you had a plastic straw.
Oddly enough, I did find a lot of plastic straws when we were doing the Green Up cleanup. I tell you that?
No.
I just thought it was weird.
It's all those Dunkin' cups people throwing out.
The Dunkin' cups and the Twisted Teas.
Every time I see someone with Twisted Tea now, I'm like, yeah.
Scofflaw.
It's funny, we're at the Red Sox game, I'm like, we should follow that guy and see what he's going to do with that Twisted Tea. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't dare go to California. I'd be arrested for something. I probably would wear like an American flag shirt or something, and that would probably be not allowed.
You'd be considered a traitor to...
I think people would realize that
Not all
basically,
Californians are bad, by the way.
no. But all the California
political-
government is a bunch of
Yeah, the
crap.
political system's corrupt.
I mean, they are hemorrhaging people leaving, yet remember, these are the same people that are trying to control the whole government. So if you think the experiment in California is working so good with their electric cars, that just telling people, hey, don't charge your car because we're having rolling blackouts because we can't, produce all the power and blah, blah, blah. You're being lied to about every freaking thing there is. And your electric car isn't saving the environment from nothing.
Yeah, it's all a card shuffle. What is that? 3-card money?
Yeah. Just shifting money from one person to another. Let's talk about Kid Rock. I love Kid Rock. I've always loved Kid Rock.
Went to his concert in 2001, Knoxville, 2001 or 2.
I'm jealous.
That's pretty cool.
I bet.
And it was patriotic.
He is. He's very patriotic.
And that was 20 years ago, or maybe a little bit over 20 years ago.
And one of the reasons I know he's genuine and I like him is because he's like best friends with Hank Williams Jr. And
Do you know Hank Williams Jr.?
Not personally, of course, but
You just think that he's a good guy?
yeah, I'm very confident of that. He's a patriot. He's country
He's
boy.
banned from Monday Night Football?
Yes. That makes him a good guy. That alone could make him a good guy. Yeah, I mean, Kid Rock's very patriotic. He says what he thinks. He doesn't care. I guess he was on Tucker Carlson's show, which is Fox News. He said he won't apologize for his
It was on Fox Nation, actually. It's
Fox Nation, whatever.
their internet subscription service like CNN Plus.
Yeah.
But, that
How'd that work out?
3 weeks CNN.
$300 million that went
I mean,
where?
Fox needs to start failing as well. I've been reading some stuff about
Fox is
and-
crap too. So if you're like, oh, those guys on the Tim and Steve show talking about Fox News, listen, I hate Fox News too because they're just as corrupt. I don't mind Tucker Carlson. I like Laura Ingraham, but it's the same thing. Like,
Yeah, it's like Lindsey Graham. They just talk. And...
yeah, well, don't.
Hey, I'm just saying.
You'll wreck our next little segment. So, anyways, Kid Rock, he said he won't apologize for his drunken rant in which he blasted Oprah Winfrey and more. The musician made headlines after blasting Oprah Winfrey and The View co-host Joe Bear, who's a scum of the earth. That's my words, not the story's words. During a 2019 appearance in Nashville, Tennessee, music club.
Oh, you said Joy Behar?
Behar, yeah. Did I say that right?
I didn't know who you were talking about. It lost me. So
Joy Behar from The View, scum of the earth.
Gotcha.
Basically, I guess he was on stage and he'd been drinking. That happens. During which he said F Oprah Winfrey and F Joe Behar. And he had a sit-down interview with Carlson. And basically he's like, and it's funny because a drunken man's words are a sober man's thoughts, which is very true. If someone's drinking and they're talking, that's usually when the truth comes out of them, And
it heightens whatever emotions they're feeling.
Exactly. And
Be a little bit more.
so I own what I said. He told Carlson, I don't apologize to anybody. I'm not an Oprah Winfrey fan. I got drunk and effing. Next thing, I'm on stage saying F Oprah. And basically, he said he's uncancelable. I'm not in bed with big corporate things, he said at the time. And at the end of the day, there's nobody I'm beholden to, no record companies, no corporate interest, no nothing. You can't cancel me. And I love it when they try, which they've been trying to cancel Kid Rock for quite a while.
Didn't he put on concerts with, was he the one that was one of them was like Pay What You Could or something?
Yep, he did that. He also canceled concerts where they said that you couldn't come to the concert unless you're vaccinated or a mask thing. And he's like, yeah, I don't think so. You're not doing that.
Take the money out of the city's hands. For
Yeah, he's many times gone against corporate record companies and everything else. And like, I was thinking about this because I saw this story when I was heading before I was heading to the softball game. I was thinking about that on the way there. I'm like, why wouldn't people want to listen to him? But like, you're going to be like, oh, he's a moron, blah, blah, blah. He is in the system. So he's literally in the system that he's telling you is corrupt. He's part of the system. He's in it. But we're going to be like, well, no, he's wrong. Wait, we're not in the system. He's in the system. That'd be like saying I work for McDonald's and I'm telling you how bad it is. And you're like, no, it's not. It's not that bad. It's not like that at all. Everything you're saying
I read
is
an
not true.
article when I was in college, and
Yes.
this expert said that McDonald's is
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people do. They're like, I heard Ron Burgundy say on the TV that this happened, and so I believe it. And you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like,
I'm just gonna be like, all right,
the
Ron Burgundy, to
freaking
anybody
hell?
that starts
What
saying
don't
some garbage off the news that's totally
what
corporate sponsored BS that they don't see for some reason. I'm just gonna start being like, all right, Ron Burgundy.
what don't what don't people understand? Like, how much more proof of different things do you need before you finally be like, oh yeah, I guess it's true. Like,
I guess those gentlemen that threw the tea into the Boston Harbor knew what they were talking about.
yeah, like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
Puzzled.
just got to keep engaging people and trying to, be patient with them. But at the same
That's my
time, like, all
specialty
right,
right
Ron
there,
Burgundy.
being
Yeah, you're not a
patient.
very patient man.
So patient.
I'm patient. I play the long game. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to be patient with people because eventually, if now, like some random person that they were to come up to me and start spewing something off, I wouldn't necessarily be patient with them because I don't know them. But you know what I mean? If you know somebody,
All right, so here's the Republican part.
ask them the tough questions. Have them look stuff up.
Oh, they never answer tough questions.
Well, they need to look it up and like stop reading within your own circle. Like I read a bunch of liberal stuff, I read a bunch of conservative stuff, I read a bunch of independent stuff.
I mean, even if you read
And you
articles,
discern what the truth is. Somewhere in there, you'll get enough quotes. You'll get the whole quote because, Fox News will put half of a quote in an
Right.
article
It's
that
always
makes
biased.
the conservative
Right.
person look like they know what they're
Right.
talking about. CNN or MSNBC will take the other half of the quote that makes them look like a moron or, like they don't know what they're talking about, and they'll include that in their article. And then the independent journalists will usually, if they're good at their job, which, not all of them, there's always room for improvement. Just like we have room for improvement after every show. We talk about what we can do better next time. Anyway.
and we don't.
No, we can try. We got a green
So-
screen. We got the glare gone. We got
I know we have green screen. I've been changing the
mostly
pictures.
positive stuff other than this
I want to.
25-minute segment we've been going off on.
That's all right. So yesterday I used. I took. So anyways, any of the pictures that you see in the background as of this point back, and then probably forward for a little bit. I stole those off the internet, so I take no credit. But the picture I did use yesterday, I took off of the Chamber, shared it, and it was from John Ryba photo art. So I just wanted to put everyone out there, like that was a beautiful picture that he took, which unless you watched the show, you didn't see it. But
Well, you can see it on the thumbnail.
yeah, it was a very, very nice picture. So I just wanted to kind of give that shout out for that.
Legally, don't you have to?
Whatever. What are you
So
gonna
where do
sue
you
us
find
for?
his artwork so we don't get in any more?
I don't know. The Chamber shared the photo, so
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure if you go online, like John works at the post office actually, and I've known John for a long time, but he does some. He used to do a lot of like fires. He'd go to with the fire department, and he takes some really nice pictures. But I just wanted to say that picture was a local picture that was taken from John. Some of the other pictures I have are just off the internet, like stock photos or whatever. Google it. Or
Yeah, I saw you had Newport on there the other day.
yeah, it's pretty cool. So anyway, so here's our segment about the Republicans. And I'll be honest, I had a hard time finding things to talk about negative about Republicans just because so many of the things happening now in the country are the left are doing now. But also let me put the disclaimer in so anyone out there well, I'm a Republican because most of our people are conservative, middle of the road people. But these don't necessarily pertain to you, so don't get all offended and send an email and be like, what the hell, you just offended me. No, I'm just saying that in general, talking about Washington politics or our own local state politics, these typically are things that people will say about Republicans that are negative, and I'm sure there's more if, someone, hey, if you can email in Tim and Steve Show nh@gmail, and you could give us a list of other things we missed off the Democrat list or Republican list, because I'm sure there's some we missed. So you could send in something too and say, well, these are some good things too. So that's fine. I'll read them. No problem with that. So anyways, Republicans, they do nothing but talk about stuff, no action ever. So you just see all the time, they talk, but then in the end, it's just yeah.
This is our Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, and this is like the next thing. Write angry letters, which
Yeah, that's
you're
what Lindsey
Graham's
he's
famous for
always,
that. I'm gonna write a letter.
I'm gonna investigate this. You ain't investigating anything, Lindsey.
No, it's yeah.
You're just buying time so the people get angry about the next topic the next day and forget about what you were.
Yes.
That's what happens. You know that, right? Like he's all fired up on Thursday, and by Friday, it's a whole new drama that has overshadowed what he was going to be what he was angry about allegedly on Thursday.
Yep.
And then he doesn't do anything.
Yep. They never fight back. They just basically lay down. So they'll talk a talk. They talk the talk, but they do not walk the walk. So they'll talk, make press quotes, or things that'll come up on the news.
Well, they try to play fair, right? That's what what they'll say is like we're trying to stick to the rules and play fair, and Democrats don't.
Yeah, and they're too. I'm just going to say it. They're just too dumb to say, okay, well, this isn't a fair fight. Then we need to. Okay, they're too cowardice to step up into the game.
It's a lack of unity within the party. So, if someone disagrees with Lindsey Graham on these two things, then they'll disagree with him. Whereas they may compromise, like Democrats would compromise, like with AOC. Well, that's two different ones, a senator and a congresswoman. But you get what my point is like they'll disagree with AOC, but they're not going to dog her. Whereas Republicans will go in and dog other Republicans on TV because they disagree with them.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and that's not true in every case, but there seems to be more unity. The Democrats are unified, whereas the Republicans aren't.
Yeah.
They don't stick together.
Most communists unify pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's remember Trump signed the bills for the billions of dollars in stimulus. Trillions, I'm sorry. Trillions. I wrote trillions and I said billions. I'm sorry. Trillions. And let's remember the amount of that went overseas. I think the amount that went to this country was like 1 point something trillion. The rest was all overseas. So while you can't afford your gas and you can't afford to feed your family, and
rest assured, the foreign countries have your tax dollars that you might have paid.
Yes, the United States is the laughingstock of the world, and it's not because of Trump. It's not even because of Biden. It's because we are stupid and we give away. Well, we're not stupid. The people in Congress give away all our money.
Special interest. It's the lobbying and corporations being labeled now as individuals or whatever, so they can.
Yeah, the crooks
contribute.
Crooks.
Contribute means control, possibly.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, if you're really trying to tell me what contribute means, like.
No.
I got you. They didn't stop the rioting, which happened for 2 summers.
You thought I was going to define contribute? Come on, man.
I know. I'm like, listen, you got to dumb down some things for me, but they allowed the Freedom Zone in Seattle. Autonomous zone or whatever you want to call it. Basically, when a bunch of lefties decided to
when they were seditious and created their own country inside our country.
Yes,
and rejecting our country.
We just let them. Yeah, have at it. They're scared to be called an ist, so they don't take action. Fascist, racist, whatever, ist, sexist, misogynist, blah blah blah. Shove your ist up your.
I mean, you can't be afraid. Like, you got to, as long as it's in your heart, you know that you're a good person and you're not any of those things. Like,
but you know how you're.
It's like Kid Rock said, whatever. You can't cancel me. Like, I'm not that. So.
But listen, the reason, like,
keep getting worked up, Bubba.
Listen, if you are called an ist by somebody, it's because you are winning the argument. They have nothing else to say, so I will call you an ist. I will call you a racist. I will call you whatever because. Oh my God, you can call me whatever. I don't care. That's the problem. People are like, oh my God, you called me racist. They literally use racist so much that it doesn't even mean what it used to mean.
No, so when there is a racist, an actual
racist,
you're like, really or no? Because
exactly,
you just use that word.
Or is it just an argument that I'm winning against a liberal? And of course, now we're going back to the liberal thing. But anyways, Republicans, spineless, ist.
They're afraid to have frank conversations.
Yes, because they're petrified to be called an ist.
And that's not all, but I mean, as we're saying,
a majority.
Overall,
there's a few.
Mine or yours or both of our observations, and probably find articles about it as well.
Let's remember, all but 11 of those Republicans voted to send $39.8 billion to Ukraine, which I don't know. I think that money could have been used for stuff here in the United States, like trying to get the gas price down so people could afford to go to work, maybe try to get the food costs down,
Education costs,
maybe securing our schools so
taking
that,
care of the homeless,
yeah,
homeless veterans.
but we armed the citizens of Ukraine who can be trusted with guns, by the way. We cannot be, me and you cannot be trusted with guns because, well,
Our guns will walk away and attack people.
yes, yeah. House full of guns. Never had one wake up in the middle of the night and say, I got you now. Yeah. Let's remember, they also allow the lobbyists to own them.
Yeah.
That's both parties, and that is definitely Republicans too. So let's not forget that.
Yeah, business interests it's always been a Republican, like a negative thing about Republicans, but it's
The Koch
true.
brothers.
I mean,
Koch brothers. That's another one we should talk about. The Koch brothers, although one's
yeah,
dead.
they were like
big oil
the
tycoon,
Soros
yeah.
equivalent of the right.
Right.
So you have Soros allegedly funding everything nefarious on the left, and you have the Koch brothers on the right.
You don't hear Koch brothers very often anymore, though.
Once
Occasionally.
in a while. Well,
Well,
maybe
one's
not
dead.
brothers because one's passed away, but
Koch brother.
see, I just did a George Carlin thing. You said dead. I said passed away. I softened the language. Like George Carlin would make fun of me for saying passed away.
Okay, good. They don't serve we the people. Matter of fact, none of them serve we the people.
Apparently.
You know why? The first three most important words in the Constitution starts with we the people.
It didn't say we, the government?
No, and actually, the whole Constitution is written to tell you that you, the people, are in control, not the government. And it's actually written in the Constitution that if you're facing the government, just like you face right today, a tyrannical government that
Doesn't look out for your
doesn't
best
look out for your
interest.
best interest, that constitutionally you are allowed to overthrow that government and replace it with a government that actually does represent you. Written in the Constitution.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be an angry overthrow.
No.
But it can't be a voting one because you know there are states now that are saying, by the way, that the voting machines can be hacked.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not possible. They're not hooked to the internet.
it won't be on the news, but it is. They are.
No. Can't believe that. No way. ABC News didn't tell me that.
No, they won't
Why?
until it benefits a Democrat. Whenever if Republicans win,
It'll be interesting.
which
November
I
would be
think
very
it should be
interesting.
patriots should win, like people who love their country.
Exactly. And if they don't love your country, then you shouldn't be in office anymore. And
All right, what else we got on there? I keep sidetracking on
this
everything.
November, when you vote, you need to vote for new people that have never been to Washington before.
Yeah, or in the primaries, vote for people who aren't.
Kings,
Yeah,
Sununu, King Sununu.
I can't vote because I'm undeclared. So
Yeah, myself included. We could stand out there and with a sign that day,
yeah, we
though.
could.
Like, we can't vote, but we're here to cheer you on. And then let's bring it to a state level, too, is New Hampshire controls the Senate, the House, and the governor.
The Republicans.
The Republicans, yes, in New Hampshire. And they still refuse to fix school funding, which is obviously hurting our town and every town around us, and well, most towns in the state.
Most of
I'm sorry, I
the
can't say every town around us.
blue
'Cause-
collar towns are.
Yes, there's one particular town in our county that doesn't have a school funding issue, but at the same time, it's not their fault. Like, we shouldn't be hating on Sunapee because they have a good tax base. We should be, if anything, we should be pissed off at the state for not fixing school funding and doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it's in
Yeah, I
this-
don't begrudge.
it's in this little beauty here, this New Hampshire Constitution. It says in there that the state of New Hampshire is responsible for funding education. It's not the town's responsibility, which, if you've noticed in your tax bill, 2/3 of your taxes go to the school before the town, or excuse me, before the state even kicks in their little $4,700 a kid, whatever. So remember this come election time. Remember this, like,
Yeah, if they come into our town, ask the tough questions.
yeah, and don't just like refuse to not take, because they'll not answer the question.
Yeah, they
no,
want
be
to
like,
answer
no,
the
I want the
question.
answer.
They're masters of
Yeah.
deflecting, and
All of them are,
it's probably a class that they get.
probably.
Media training.
Something. But so that's kind of wraps up a list of the Republican one. No kahunas.
No, well, they don't stand together. They don't conserve anything. I mean,
I know it's a conservative,
it's,
but they spend just as much money as anybody else does.
I mean,
Balance the budget.
you have literally kids going to strip clubs for drag queens. I wouldn't support kids going to a strip club with strippers either. Like, it's wrong. Kids, whatever. I just wake up. I don't know. There's a lot of craziness going on around us, and
And the thing is, this is actually happening.
yeah, it's not.
Like, I've seen at this point probably close to 100 stories about that whole drag queen, like that whole thing with the school. And I'm not saying this is happening in Newport, but I'm saying it's happening elsewhere, which eventually it gets back to you no matter where you live. So, yeah, it's crazy. It's a freaking crazy world we live in. Yeah. So let's go back to the good stuff. Graduation tonight,
Tonight,
6 o'clock. We get little squares on the field, which I kind of like. It started as a COVID thing for separation, but now it's
keeps you away from all the riffraff. You don't want to sit in there.
I didn't say that. You said that, Steve Morris. No,
I'm just.
but no. So it's nice because you have a square. Bring your lawn chair. No umbrellas though, because people can't see in front of you. But it's nice because you're close to the action, the kids, and everything. Which obviously our kids are graduating, so we'll be on the field. But if you're a community member and you want to show up, the very great timing is the new bleachers are there, which hold I think Ms. Martin said 500 people. Plus the old bleachers, which probably held at least like 100 or something. So plenty of seating for everybody. Come support these kids. I better see some people tonight that I haven't seen at any school board meetings that care so much about education. Like, I better see those people tonight there somewhere in the crowd. Like, yeah, I'm here for Newport. This is like the one big thing, like, right? It's graduation. This is the time to celebrate the accomplishments of all these kids.
I mean, I would expect to see them at the school board meeting, not necessarily at graduation.
I would too, but hey, if you're so for education, just thinking a few people in my head that I won't say, but yeah, we'll see. But once again, too, school board meeting Thursday, 5 o'clock. Be there, all these people that care so much about education. I'll be there like I am every meeting because I care and I want to see change, and I won't stop until things change.
Do you have a meme of the day?
I do have a meme of the day. Same meme of the day I had yesterday that I forgot to talk about. See, look, you contributed to the show in a big way right here. This, was a moron, but so the look on your face when someone tells you gas went from $2 to $5 because the economy's doing better. And it's old Forrest Gump there.
Don't believe your lying eyes.
Yeah, but I've actually heard that. And actually, there's this TikTok thing, and I'm not a TikTok person, but I saw someone shared it, and it was basically Biden saying how good families have it now and stuff, and how things are going good and all this, and I'm like,
well, we saved 13 cents last 4th of July, right?
Yeah, on hot dogs or something.
Whatever it was.
It's funny. I'm starting to wonder if maybe Biden's doing like crack just like his son, because I don't know. I don't know what world he lives in, but maybe not crack. It's got to be like hallucinogenics, because crack probably doesn't make you like hallucinate. Like, he's hallucinating apparently that everything's so great. But I guess if
he's got to try to sell it.
Fed
I don't know
ice cream.
I don't know that he's necessarily hallucinating. I think he's just trying to sell the bad bill of goods that his handlers are thrusting upon us. Because
that's true. You kind of have to have a brain to actually hallucinate. Yeah, that's too much credit too.
Hey, this is a bizarro world, man.
Listen, you have to watch the show because you have to see what dumb face Tim will have today. I can't wait to see. I saw that yesterday. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Hey, you said something to me 2 or 3 times before, asking me what I'm doing to the.
Yeah. No, I'm really on. I'm on to you
I
now,
have it on
Steve.
random generator.
Steve, I am on to you. I know what is happening now. You are
No, it's random generated.
randomly generated. Let's find. Is like keywords like most horrible face Tim could make. Most
I'll show it
embarrassing
to you.
face. All right, guys. Have a great day. Get out. Enjoy the weather. It's gonna be nice today for the rest of the day. Rain tomorrow, but hey, we need it. Let's wash some more of that pollen away so people with allergies can breathe. And there's a lot of positive things that are happening today in Newport, but also this week with awards banquets and I think I saw a middle school graduation, like a lot of good things. So get out there, try to do something positive today, and
Help each other out.
help each other out, and contribute to your community. And
Yeah, no, we sit here and we badmouth a lot, or critique things, however you want to call it. But at the end of the day, I want everybody to be successful. I want everybody to be treated with dignity and respect within certain bounds, depending on
Yeah.
the amount of degeneracy that they're trying to thrust. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, we're all people.
yeah, and we want what's best for our community, especially, and we need to start working.
South
together.
Park quote, "Where's my country going?"
I don't know. It's in South Park apparently now. But all right, guys, have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Tim and Steve show. Oh, and we're going to talk about your brisket tomorrow.
I hope it's good.
I hope it's good too. All right, guys, have a good one.